Hi and welcome to this reading. Today's reading is a collective reading. If you are new to my channel, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. A bit about me first. I'm an intuitive tarot reader. I pick up on energy prior to a reading. I will then come and use my tarot and oracle decks to further clarify that message. All of my readings are timeless. Whenever you stumble across this reading, you were meant to find it. There's potentially a message in here for you. All of the decks that I use on my channel are my own designs, because I am also an illustrator. So if you call to any of them throughout the reading, the links to them can be found in the description box, as well as any songs or movies that I mentioned during the reading. And they may also have relevance in terms of the lyrics, the album cover, or potentially the background of the writing of that song or a movie that that song is attached to. So I'm going to give you the messages that were coming through. The first thing that I got, and it's been rolling around in my head since I woke up this morning, and it's the song The Winner Takes It All. And the energy that I'm picking up on is that you've gotten something that you wanted, but there's been a price. Now, the last section of readings that I did a whole playlist on Adam and Eve and the Garden of Eden, running through those themes of sacrifice. And it's this theme that's coming through again of, now obviously they were related to relationships. This may not be in relation to a relationship. It could be. Take it as it resonates. But there's an energy coming through of now sitting. And I just heard the king is in his counting house, counting up his money. So that image of somebody kind of sitting there almost, I'm seeing the Four of Pentacles card, which is that, holding on. This is what I got. Something that you wished for, something that you wanted. But now it's a reflecting back on what was the sacrifice. And the sacrifice could have been a person. It could have been multiple relationships. It could have been a financial sacrifice that you made in order to get what you thought that you wanted. The winner takes it all. You could have sacrificed your health, because on my window, and animals at the moment are particularly prevalent in terms of the messages that they are sending through. I have a dragonfly sitting on, it's called a yucca plant or yucca plant. It's this kind of spiky plant in my garden. And this beautiful, delicate dragonfly is sitting on the sharp prong, the sharp leaf, on the end of the sharp leaf of this plant. Now, if you walk past that plant in my garden and you happen to brush up against it, it's sharp. It's like a claw, and it's sitting precariously. This beautiful, delicate dragonfly sitting precariously on the end of it. So maybe to get what you want, you had to go on a knife's edge. And you're just realizing how precarious the situation is. I've also got a little tiny mosquito on my window. And normally when you see a mosquito, they're all lovely and plump and they've just had a good feed. This particular one it doesn't look well at all. Almost like something has drained it. So as I said, what did you sacrifice in order to get what you wanted? And because we are in a point in time where the North Node is in Pisces. Pisces is about our spirituality, gaining the spiritual insight into where we are at a particular point in time. The North Node will be in Pisces for the next 18 months. It started there in January this year. This point of reflecting back and really taking a good look at what we actually sacrifice. Now, as I said, could be a person, could be a relationship, it could be a job, could be financial security. But what I was really picking up on was health. And I don't think we realize it because of the fast-paced society that we are in. And maybe for those who have an understanding into the background and rise of autoimmune disorders. And we've seen a massive increase in them and will continue to see an increase in them. If you are empathetic, if you are somebody who picks up on energies, as well as somebody who literally is on 24/7. TV, social media, emails running. I mean, we are literally connected to our phones 24/7. Our bodies don't get an opportunity to shut down, and so we absorb everything. Other people's energies. And it's not just a matter of the people that are standing in front of us, physically standing in front of us, but if you're watching something on social media, you're actually absorbing that person's energy as well. And there is a card in this deck. Now, when I did the pre-shuffle on the cards, these are the cards that came out, but I'm very, very particular in terms of where I place my cards. This angel deck is meant to be here. Divine Messages deck is meant to be here. But for some reason, they were flipped. Some sort of guidance that you weren't listening to, because the angel deck was on the bottom. And if I think of the angel and the devil's on the bottom. The devil's in the details of what sacrifice you made in order to get what you want. So, the cards that came out, first of all, I got a maybe. And I sat with that for a little bit and I thought, what is that? And it's almost this Eight of Cups energy, this Saturn in Pisces energy of shit. I got what I wanted, but at what cost? The Four of Cups came out next. Now that is the Moon in Cancer. That's a card of disappointment. I got what I want, but it wasn't really what I wanted. And then I got the Queen of Swords, which is Uranus in Aquarius. That's a card of truth, but it's also a card of... she's pretty ruthless in a negative aspect. Aquarius is the rebel. It's almost like a charging forth on what you thought, a charging forth on what you thought you wanted. Two of Wands. Now that is Mars and Aries. When you think about Mars, Mars is the planet of war. Aries is the Emperor. The Two of Wands is making a decision that you made to charge forward, that now in hindsight, even though you may have gotten what you wanted, you realize that there was a bigger sacrifice. The World card is Saturn, a karmic lesson. Are you going to, or have you learnt, or are you realizing the importance of this lesson? Because what happens with the World card in the tarot is that if you learn the lesson, you get to start a new journey. But if you don't learn the lesson, you get spat back to learn the lesson all over again, just in a different format. Then I got this song, Jealous, Nick Jonas and Tinashe. And I wonder, because we've got all of these cards here of impulse, the Two of Wands, was it a decision that you made impulsively? Because of something that you potentially didn't have that you wanted. When you think of jealousy, somebody who's jealous wants something that somebody else has, but they don't have themselves. Now, you know, it doesn't have to be the kind of, it can be a relationship. Maybe you saw somebody that you like. Maybe you saw somebody that you like and thought that they were with somebody else. So out of spite, you charge forward in another direction. I'm getting a real competitive vibe here. Maybe your driver. And when I think of, where do we have Mars and Aries? Aries is the Emperor. Now that is a card that came out and I will go into that in a minute. Maybe your driver has been held up in unbalanced emotion, because when you think of the Emperor card, you can have a balanced or an unbalanced Emperor energy, which is divine masculine energy, not gender specific. But if you are making your decisions, and the Emperor card in its purest form is a balance between action and wisdom. If you are driving forward, if your action forwards, Two of Wands, which is the plans that you make, are made on fiery emotional instability, jealousy, then the outcome is always going to be disappointment. A healed emperor is a wise emperor. And the story I was getting, and I often get biblical references, not because my background, I'm Catholic, but I'm not a Bible basher or, but I have to give you the messages that come through. King Solomon was the message that was coming through. Now, in the tarot, he's often represented as the emperor, balanced and wise. And also in the tarot, a lot of the imagery in the tarot cards, and I kept seeing the Justice card, this balance. A lot of the imagery in the original drawing of the tarot cards comes from the pillars in King Solomon's temple. Now, that was the first temple that was built on balance. He was known as a balanced emperor. So I'm going to pop these cards up here, and we're going to pull some cards for you about this sacrifice that you now realize. And maybe in the beginning, you were like, you know what? This is what I want. I'm prepared to sacrifice this in order to get it. So the sacrifice may have seemed small in comparison to the reward. But now when you're on the other side of it and you've gotten the reward, you realize that the sacrifice was bigger than you thought. Let's get an angel. What angel has been walking with you? Now, normally this sits up here, as I said before. And what I should have done was taken a card from there, because that's my normal method of operation. But I'm pushing back against what my guides are telling me to do, and I have to stop it. It might be something that you've been doing, and that's happened that way for a reason. I meant to pull this card first. It's almost a not listening to your intuition. Maybe this card, maybe part of this lesson that you have been learning, or you're coming to the realization of, is that pause and doing what you're guided is better than charging forward in unbalanced emperor energy. Let's get a message. Okay. Telepathy. Divine timing. It was all part of the plan. Now, telepathy is a telepathic connection that you have with somebody else. And I just heard the wires across. You can have telepathy with a romantic interest. You can have telepathy with somebody in a workplace, a family member. It's basically the ability to communicate with somebody without the use of words. And I go back to that original thing that I was talking about. In the past, you basically had connections with a smaller group of people, but because the internet is literally, you can connect with anybody in the world. It's almost like white noise. There's too much communication coming through. And so you're getting crossed wires. Okay, what angel is walking with you? Telepathy. Number 5, which is change, harmony and occult wisdom. That's the 4 of Wands. That angel aligns with the 4 of Wands. Now, the 4 of Wands is a journey that you are going on, and when you reach the destination, you have the celebration. Harmony and occult wisdom. And what I think's happened here is that you've reached the destination, but it's not actually where you wanted to go. Okay, let's get some cards for you. Let's find out what's happening in the energy around you. Yeah, heartache. Mercury in Cancer. Not where you wanted to go. What's happening in the 3D? Enlightenment. It's a realization that the journey that you've been on hasn't got you to the destination that you wanted. Potentially because now telepathy is not with yourself, but in some ways telepathy is with another person. But it's listening to your own intuition. And how do you do that with all of this noise around you? The enlightenment that maybe you were listening to the wrong thing. Harmony and occult wisdom. This is what's happening in the soul. The Five of Cups. Huge, huge disappointment. It's also got the feeling of, you know, what looked, all the bright, shiny things, what looked like it was going to be amazing, ended up being disappointing. Message from the man upstairs. It was hidden. We did have that. Divine timing, it was all part of the plan. It was hidden. Hidden from you because you were meant to. I guess it's a real lesson in temperance, in patience, in actually sitting back and recognizing that just because something looks great on the exterior doesn't necessarily mean that it is spiritually good for you. The outcome, the Ace of Wands, a new beginning. That particular card is Aaron's rod. Now, Aaron was Moses' brother in the Bible. And he was with Moses when he journeyed out of Egypt. And at the end of that journey, that staff was put inside the Ark of the Covenant, and it was closed and sealed. So a journey that you've been on that was closed and sealed. Meaning the lessons within it, the world, the lessons within it were unknown to you. And when they opened up that box, you can see the little almond shoots had come off. Now, it shouldn't have done that. It had started growing little almonds, which is a new beginning. But it's a spiritual beginning because it's a new beginning based on the lessons that you've learnt. It's almost Phoenix rising from the ashes energy. And the Four of Pentacles. Now, that was the card I said I saw. That's the Sun in Capricorn. Okay, let's get some clarification on this Three of Swords. I think I said before it's Mercury in Cancer, but it's not. It's actually Saturn in Libra. The karmic lessons that you learn about the Tower. On where you built. The stability, the karmic lessons that you learned about the stability of where you built. The Page of Swords. And I've got that little dragonfly. He's still sitting on the top. Like, it's really pointy and sharp. It's even, the plant has even got, so it's a green leaf. And then as it goes up to the point, it's bright red. So it's like the universe saying, this is dangerous. I mean, red is the color of stop, you know. But he's literally stood on the end of it. Like these swords here. Pages are naive. Okay, let's have a look at the Sun. Yeah. You learn a hard truth, I guess. The Ace of Swords. You learn a hard truth when you stand precariously on the end of something that is sharp. The Sun, double suns. And if you think in the garden, he's on the top of this plant, right? He can see, but he actually would be safer down lower. From a predator aspect, but also from what he's stood on. The tower that he's built. The Five of Cups, which is what's happening in the soul. huge enlightenment going on here. Page of Wands. Yeah, he actually would have been better. He actually would have been better. If you have a look, he's stood up behind the tree. He actually would have been better not charging forward and just staying back and waiting. We've got the Eight of Pentacles, but it was in reverse, which is the Seven of Pentacles, which is about where you're planting your seeds. And that big sigh. The Eight of Pentacles is the sun in Virgo. When you think about Virgo, Virgo is the Hermit card. It's the spiritual awakening. Two suns here in the 3D. So the sun in Virgo. This is what's happening in the soul. A double truth. A double enlightenment. The Ace of Swords is the truth that's happened in the 3D that makes you recognize the disappointment, the Five of Cups, how your soul got it wrong, how your soul, instead of charging forward in unbalanced Emperor energy, making a decision to do something on mixed signals, and potentially an emotional decision. Not necessarily jealousy, it can be anything. But when you make a decision on emotion and charged emotion, especially in Emperor energy, you need to be in wise Emperor energy to make that decision. So this realization in the soul that the decision that you made, where you planted your seeds, you should have actually hung back a little. Okay, the message from the man upstairs. Yeah. Got too many, but we've got the Emperor. We've got the Magician, the Eight of Wands. This is beautiful, actually. And the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups is Venus in Pisces. The Eight of Wands is Mercury in Sagittarius. The Magician is Mercury and the Emperor. That's talking about the test. Seven of Cups is about a choice that you make, a choice that you made to charge forward. The Magician is about illusion, to charge forward in Emperor energy. And it was all part of a karmic lesson. And the Ace of Wands, which is the outcome. And I just heard, you got burnt. Ace of Pentacles. It could have been financially burnt. And the Four of Swords. That's healing after heartbreak. That's a spiritual timeout about something that you charged forward towards that looked like it was going to be stable. The Ace of Pentacles, the Four of Pentacles. That looked like it was going to be stable and looked like it was going to be what you wanted, but you actually got burnt. This is a big reading on reflection. The winner takes it all, but do they really? What do they sacrifice? The Three of Pentacles. Where did they build? What did you build? Or what did you try and build? Who did you try and build with? Interesting. Okay, let's get some advice for you. Joyous resolution. I would say joyous resolution comes, and specifically because we've got these cards in the soul, which is essentially a spiritual awakening. If you're not recognizing this lesson, and maybe this is a prompt, if you haven't kind of realized the other side of things, that maybe you need to go a little deeper. But if you've already realized this lesson, 2 aces, and the World. The opportunity to build a stable new beginning. Based on spiritual knowledge, I want to say. Hidden things that are done in the dark. Perhaps what was inner wisdom. Perhaps what was offered to you. And we did have that card. It was all part of the plan, tying up loose ends. Perhaps what was offered to you, or what looked to be bright and shiny. And yes, please, I'll have that. It's like that big piece of cake that you see in the window of the cake shop. And I talk about food because in this lifetime, food is my devil energy. I've struggled with my weight my whole life. Anything that I've ever tried to achieve has been undone. And I'm talking about anything that I've tried to achieve in terms of how I want to look and feel in my body has been undone by, you know, a cake in a window or a post that I see on Instagram of how to make something. And I get all caught up in it. And I make it. And then I think, God, I shouldn't have eaten that. But it's all tests, hidden things that are done in the dark. They're all spiritual tests, something. And whether it's jealousy or whether it's finance or whether it's something that you thought somebody else had that you wanted has been part of a spiritual test, a lesson that you're meant to learn in order to get yourself in balanced Emperor energy. Drive, passion, and wisdom. This balance of both. And it's a day-by-day thing. Inner wisdom, it's a day-by-day thing. I now know that when I'm hungry, I've been doing spiritual fasts, which are actually really helping and really working, giving me inner clarity. Maybe you need to do a spiritual fast from the things that make you feel like you don't have enough, from the things that put you in unbalanced Emperor energy and actually cause you to drive forward in an unbalanced emotional state. And whether that is, you know, if you've got a shopping addiction, don't bring the junk mail into the house. I've actually started to do my groceries online because the supermarkets themselves, they're called impulse aisles or impulse, the ends of the aisle in the supermarket or near the cash register. And they're full of impulse things. People are standing there waiting to put their groceries through. And there's all these shelves of chocolates and all this sort of stuff. It's this energy that's coming through of, you know, all of this communication that you don't actually need. Cut it all out. And so I just do my groceries online. And I buy exactly what I need. And I don't have any waste because I only buy what I need. It's like, where are you putting your energy? Wasted energy. But it's all part of a journey that you're meant to be on. So if you are surrounded by a heap of people who are really in their ego and I've got this and this is how much I earned, or, you know, that sort of thing. If you surround yourself with those people, then they tap into, potentially, if that's your vice, they tap into this feeling of not having enough. And so you charge forward to all the shiny things and then actually realize that that actually breeds disappointment because it wasn't what you actually wanted. But it's part of a journey, inner wisdom. And you will have people around you, and potentially good people. My husband is an incredible cook. And I have to say, I'm fasting today. Please don't cook my favorite meal or something that I know you like for dinner. And so on the days that I don't like seafood, on the days that I'm fasting, they have seafood for dinner because then I'm not tempted. I just don't go near the kitchen because I can't stand the smell. But that's a lesson that had to be learned. And this is part of what this lesson is. It's a lesson in balancing out your Emperor energy. Action and wisdom, the balance of action and wisdom. Charging forward. But in the right mindset, I want to say, let's get a moon. Full moon in Gemini. Time to talk the talk. Communication is the secret sauce. I would say that's communication with yourself. Because Gemini often for me is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Which are you listening to? Because if you don't listen to that inner wisdom, which is where these cards are saying you need to be, you'll end up repeating the same pattern and going down the same path to learn this same lesson again. It's like a revolving door. Okay, let's have a look. Now, this is my Nodes of Destiny deck. This has everybody's node, which is their point of destiny, is in a certain sign, certain house and a certain sign. It's the big thing that you are meant to be learning. Sun. It's your point of destiny. It's what you're meant to achieve in this lifetime. But to achieve that, you have to go through all of these lessons, right? I shuffled, and I don't know why, 10 might be significant to you. Normally I shuffle all the decks 8 times. All of the decks today, for some reason, I shuffled 10 times. 10 is karmic completion as a number. This particular deck wouldn't let me shuffle it any more than 3 times, which suggests to me that you've got your hand up to a lesson that you're meant to be learning. South Node in Gemini. South Node in Gemini, you brainiac. With your knack for soaking up knowledge like a sponge, you've been on a cosmic quest for enlightenment. Your soul is like a wise owl perched on a pile of books, always seeking truth and answers. This Gemini vibe is your cozy spot in the realm where you shed old ways to make room for new growth. Now, Gemini is communication and Gemini is a choice. But if you're looking at the South Node, it's what you are releasing. And I would say, purely because I said that this deck wouldn't let me shuffle it any more than 3 times, you brainiac, maybe you're a bit of a know-it-all. And I mean that with love. Maybe you think you've got it all figured out. And then you get cross and angry with yourself when you get to a point where you're charging forward to the things that you think you want because they're the things that you think are right for you or best for you or whatever. But you actually realize that maybe you don't have it all figured out. Maybe the choice that you made, how you were communicating with yourself, or the decision that you made based on how you were communicating with yourself at the time wasn't actually the best. Gemini is about a choice. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, which is what I said before. Okay, these are my love songs. Could be about levitating, Dua Lipa. It's up in the air. Hero, Enrique Iglesias. I can be your hero, baby. I can kiss away the pain. I will stand by you forever. You can take my every breath away. Maybe you wanted to be the hero in a situation. Now, that doesn't have to be, I was about to say religious. That doesn't have to be romantic. When you think about a hero charges forward. Win at all costs. This competition energy coming back through. Best friend, Jason Chen. Let me get one more. What have you tried to be the hero in? Make you feel my love, Adele. Interesting. Take those as they resonate. Bizarre love triangle, new order. That card hasn't come out for a long time. We do have the 3 of Pentacles there, and we do have the 3 of Swords there. Got any more 3s? 3s are third party. Every time I see you falling, I get down on my knees and pray. I'm waiting for your final moment. You say the words that I can't say. That goes back to that Jealous song where a decision that was made based on some incorrect information. Charging forward. Okay, these are my love messages. Now, not necessarily a love reading. You help me heal. So they can be from your higher self, or if it is love, from your person. Just take them as they resonate. I owe you an apology. That is that South Node in Gemini. Recognizing that a mistake that you made built on unbalanced, charging forward in unbalanced Emperor energy. But I owe you an apology means that there potentially somebody isn't at the point where they recognize the imbalance. You help me heal. We need more balance, but it's upside down, which means things are balanced. Things are balancing out. I need some time to sort through my thoughts. So somebody is in this energy of the Hermit. Please have faith. Take the first step. Not ready to put that foot forward yet. Although take the step in reverse. No, that is somebody not ready yet. I want to try. And this could just be you. The truth will set you free. Yeah, it could be you, because if you are stuck in this state of tying up loose ends, learning the last bit of the lesson, learning and understanding that some sort of sacrifice that you made is actually greater than the reward that you got when you initially sacrificed it. I've got a plane going over, which is a journey. It's a spiritual journey. Okay, let's get some Scrabble tiles. Okay, this could be your first, middle, last initial, or that of something that you charge towards, somebody around you. Let's just take them as they resonate. A G and a 2, a I and a 1, a C and a 3, a K and a 5, a V and a 4, a P, Vice President, a P and a 3, maybe a job you charge towards, an F and a 4, maybe it doesn't look as good as it originally did on paper, a H and a 4, an E and a 1. Please excuse my belly, as I said, I am fasting. A T and a 1, an M and a 1, trademark, a B and a 3, a W and a 4. I'll give you a story about that. I had a business years and years and years ago, and I trademarked my business. I did the right thing. I trademarked everything, got charged forward, got all that organized, because I thought that was what you were meant to do. Well, it was what you were meant to do. And then we ended up in a trademark dispute, which we ultimately won because we'd done the right thing and the other party had tried to come in over the top and steal what was ours. But in the end, the emotional and financial toll of it all was too much to bear. The tower came down and I just ended up saying enough is enough, closing down my business and walking away. And there was a spiritual lesson in that for me, because I recognized that being away from my family and all the time and effort that I put into my business wasn't fulfilling me spiritually. Huge lesson in that. Black and white. What looked all shiny on the outside, doing all the right things, having all the right things in place, was actually costing me my physical, mental, and spiritual health. Interesting. Time. How much time and effort? TikTok. Are you putting into things? And what is it costing you? Or what has it cost you? Okay, let's get you 3 final cards. Interesting reading. Balance, that's the Six of Pentacles. That's the Moon in Taurus. The Ten of Swords. Stabbed in the back. That's the Sun in Gemini and the Star. All part of, and the Knight of Cups, which is the Moon in Scorpio. It's all part of a spiritual journey. Scorpio is death and rebirth. A hidden spiritual journey to make you realize that the cup you are pouring into, because the Star is fate. A destined lesson to make you realize the Six of Pentacles is about balance, that there was an imbalance, and the cup that you were pouring into was actually taking away. What an interesting reading. That's what I've got for you. Thanks so much for joining me for this reading. If this reading resonated with you, please give it a like. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I do post regularly. As I said, all of the decks that I use are my own designs because I am also an illustrator. If you're called to any of them, the links to them can be found in the description box. Any of the songs that came through in the reading, I will also pop in there as well. There might be more messages in the lyrics, the name of the artist, the album cover, the movie that particular song is attached to, or the story as to what was happening to the artist or why that song was written. All the best on this journey, and I will see you again in another reading.